Well, welcome you folks. This is our regular second Saturday of the month meeting of the Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group, UV-TAG. And we've just had a wonderful presentation, the first hour, by Dallin Quaz on AI to read handwriting and extract the information from, well, he used an example of a will. This is really worthwhile. It'll be online on our YouTube channel as well as on Facebook for at least a couple of months, but on our YouTube channel the rest of the time. Now we're going to do a class, and the class is an open discussion. And we've got Carol Hill and Rayanne Melick and several others that are willing to answer questions or listen to your frustrations or see what's going on. If you've got something that really works, some sort of a short success that's worked for you, let us know what it is. If you've got a question or a comment or something else related to family history and technology, somebody on the group today may be able to answer it for you. Now we're live on Zoom and on Facebook. If you have a question on Zoom, you can just unmute your microphone and ask it, and your camera if you have one. But if you're on Facebook, then just type it into the comments, and Carol Hill or somebody else will read it. All right, have we got some questions or some comments to begin with?
I can start with one.
All right.
The In fact, I was telling you about this the other day, Don. Some of you will remember from last May's meeting when Beth Ann Wiseman talked about metadata with pictures primarily, and she had. I was impressed with what could be done with that, and so I wanted to play with metadata somewhat. She recommended using MyLeo as the one that worked the best with Family Search currently, and had implemented many of the things that the metadata uh, uh, consortium had recommended for genealogical type of information in metadata. She also indicated that there was a free version of that available, and so as I dug into that, I found first a live broadcast that they were doing from somebody that professionally goes out and organizes pictures for people so they can present them more logically. And during the webinar, I asked in the chat, I asked the tech guy that was responsible and responding to chat questions during the meeting if there was a free version, and he said there was, but he didn't explain how to find it.
Oh,
So I was interested in trying out a variety of things there beyond what they do professionally, for which they charge at MyLeo. Anyway, the website does not give you any hints as to how to do anything free, with the exception of a 7-day free trial if you subscribe for a year to their services. And so I thought that maybe if I subscribe and then cancel before the 7 days is up, I'll still have an account, and whatever I uploaded, I can play with, and etc. And by the way, it ended up working that way, so that you can get a free version, except it became very difficult to cancel the subscription. And that was one of the frustrations. I ended up going through the process that I thought was there. And in the process, it looked like towards the end that they had given me a year's free time on the subscription. And so I sent them an email asking if that was the way to interpret what they had put on the screen, and sent them a screenshot of what their screen said. And I never got a response. And when I've finally realized that a few days later that they had not actually canceled my subscription, uh, I had to go through a an online form to try to do that. And online forms are a problem
Right.
because you don't ever get a copy of what you put in an online form, at least not typically in my experience. And anyway, I saved what I had put in the online form in a text file. I just cut and pasted it over so I'd have a record of what I'd sent, explaining my dissatisfaction, and finally got a response back and they finally canceled my subscription. And this was a month later, and finally got the money back for for that.
Well,
But do you,
can I add to that? Every
Please.
every year at Roots Tech, I my business money is basically my genealogy play money. So a couple of years ago, I bought Mylio,
oh,
and it works the way my brain thinks. But I had not done anything with it till this year, and I'm just slowly working through. I have pictures everywhere and on multiple I've got flash drives,
yeah,
I've
yeah,
got discs, I've got everything,
yeah.
and I have just barely started pulling it together. And for me, like I said, I every year at Roots Tech I pick one thing that I invest in, and so I will slowly keep you up to date on that as I work through my masses. But I have found, for me personally, it works the way I think. So there's a a yin and a yang to that program for you too. And I'll just kind of keep you up to date. I've just barely started on it. I bought it 2 years ago, and then this year I've never missed Roots Tech, but the day before Roots Tech started, I came down with some nasty whatever, and I was in bed the whole week, and I was
Wow.
madder than mad. My husband didn't even come close to me because I was so mad at the world that if I had to watch it on, I was mad. So anyway, I had called them and I said, you know what? I didn't even activate the program for the whole first year until like 6 days after Roots Tech this year even started. And they actually had a sale going, and I had bought a 2 year subscription, and they added another year on it for free.
Well,
So
how much is it per year?
um, I don't know. I bought the 2 year thing. So anyway, it ended up I have 3 years for like 200 and something dollars. But
200.
I think it was like 219 or something. But like I said, I had that year added on, and they backtracked everything. So I'm started out at zero again.
Okay,
And
so it's at least $100 a year then.
yeah, I'm sure it
Yeah,
is. And like I said, for me, it was worth it because I played with it and it works the way my brain does,
yeah,
which I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just my weird brain.
yeah.
But I'm just barely starting to work through it. And I know I have duplicates on duplicates on duplicates because I changed it with the technology. So anyway,
Well, does
um,
it find duplicates? Is that one of its
it
features?
does. It does. And that's been part of my problem.
Oh,
Um,
well, there's
and
free programs that'll do that for you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it also works on a Mac. And I like, I just like the feel of it. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, they don't, you know, it doesn't care and it has to be free and things like that. So, but I talked to him and I had when I had called them and told them my situation and stuff, I also had a free hour with them of instruction, and that was really helpful. And so anyway, so for me, it's been a good experience,
Good
but
program. Yeah, it's
I
worthwhile.
have to, but I have to really spend some time. I have to get through the East European Conference coming up before I can settle into the fall, and I have Grammy Camp coming up. So between those two things, it'll be August before I can sit down. I've got about 12,000 pictures loaded into it right now, but I need to go back. Some have metadata, some don't, but it's been transferred over, and like I said, I have a lot more stuff to do with it, but that's this coming fall's project to dig into that. So anyway, that's just another take it
Well, I
further.
wish they had an easy way of getting a free copy. I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
To start with, I'd like to try it out. And
No, and my concern with it too is when you end your copy, then access to your database online, and that was one of the big questions I had that I couldn't seem to get an answer. That ending my subscription seems to end my access to the photos I had online.
Yeah.
So that's,
and like I said, I was just willing to try it because the way it worked, I thought, man, that's the way my brain thinks.
And I know I like the free version of Bridges, which is an Adobe thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot
of things that we do. I was going to say what I have been using recently because of our newsletter, and because I do a lot of photo editing and text adding and things like that. But we recently had a mission farewell, and so I wanted to take pictures for the family and put it into a little book and things like that. And so I started to use the Windows program as a photo editor. And I had read that Windows had really updated or upgraded their Windows editing, and I have been delighted. I don't know if I could share my screen for Don.
I can let you.
Can you let me? Okay,
Is that the Windows photo? What do they call it? Photo editor or what?
Now you can edit.
Yeah, let me see. Okay, share screen.
You can share.
Okay, it's asking me who can do it. I'm trying to share. I'm not seeing. Oh, here. Okay. All right. So there. Okay, I'm going to share. So this is the mission farewell, a little picture of the cute little missionary who's going out. They're Haitian, and so if you click up here, there's image editing, and then it goes over to options.
Where did you click? Oh, you clicked on which one?
So if you're just in Windows and you just open up a picture, then it would have that first option. Okay, so let's say you are
what's the name of this program first off? So how do we get to it?
It's just Windows. Okay, let's try that one.
I think it's called Photos.
Photos.
I use that.
You just type that in down in the left in the corner.
Or do you just bring up a picture and it comes up?
Yeah,
I think that's what.
Yeah, let me try a new share. Let me share a different part of my screen. Okay. All right. So share that part of the screen. Okay. So let's pretend we are in, here is Windows. Okay. And, okay. So let's say I have a picture here. I don't have a picture there. I have to go up to, this is newsletters. Let's see. Oh, I do have a picture on here of what's his name? Here. Okay, so you click on Dallin. Okay, and then what happens is when you click on him, then can you now see his picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's his picture. Okay.
Now, what have you? So you've got a default for photos set to this thing.
So Yeah, I have set it that that's where my pictures are going to be opened. So
Yeah,
then
because
I
I've got a
click,
different thing set. So you got to go to,
Yeah.
first of all, you got to set
Right.
this as a default then.
right, that's,
Otherwise, you wouldn't click on it and get this thing opened.
yeah, if you do the smash cat, what's its name? I can't remember, but anyway. So then you click on editing. Okay. And I'll make this a little
And was
larger.
that the first one on the left, the top
Yeah, so-
thing, editing?
Yeah, editing. And so then I'm trying to, let me move. I've got my Zoom thing that's over the top of my options. Dang it. Let me try. Okay. Now, let me move my, oh, there we go. Okay, let me try this again now. Okay, here's my windows. Okay, and we're opening that. Okay, and so then up here you have, this is of course your option to, crop it. And then this is your option to, do your highlights. And these have improved a lot. Your shadows, they have improved a lot. And then there's, this one is the one that I have, there's a little eraser.
Yeah.
And so let's say I wanted to erase this background behind him or something like that. And then you accept it. And so for me, when I was working with this family, we had signs on the wall that didn't have anything to do with the missionary homecoming or anything in that. I was just able to take the little poster on the wall or take people out of the picture or things like that. Then there's the last option. And if you can see here, you have that you can blur the background, which is already blurred on this one, or you can, the other next option is to remove the background. And then the last one is to replace the background so that there's no background. So then you can just paste him into something with just the man in the picture. Or you can take and you can add a background. So you move this little thing and you can add all kinds of background colors and things like that behind it. And then this one, this little paintbrush one, it gives you options to be able to turn him into a dramatic, very cool dude, or just things. But you can play around with it. So the reason I just wanted to bring that in as part of our discussion is that this is free. This is on Windows 12. And I have just been absolutely delighted.
Now, wait a minute. You said Windows 12.
Not, is it Windows 11? Windows
11 is
it in
perfectly
Windows 10?
right.
Not 10. Windows 10.
Is it in 10
Yeah.
also?
Yeah.
I'm using
10 has photos, yes.
Photos. Is it the upgraded version though?
Is it like this?
No,
That's-
11 has the upgraded version.
11
10
has the
doesn't have the
upgraded version.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I have just been really delighted to have this new tool that's free to everybody. Because what I have been using is Canva to do a lot of this, and I will say Canva is still better. So for example, when it does the blurring of the background, sometimes it ends up blurring the people's hair. And Canva's AI recognizes hair versus the background and just a few things like that. So I'm still using Canva for most of it, but for this little project that I was doing to just put together this little book for this family, it was just what I needed. Okay.
One other comment for you on Photos.
Okay.
Photos has a real cool video editor in it also.
Yes.
And they, however, in Windows 11, or when they updated Photos, they changed that. They want you to use a newer version of the video editor that they've made available for some time. However, the old version of the video editor allows you to go frame by frame to trim things off the front or the back, whereas the new one does not allow you to do that. However, by the way, that's what I use to trim all these videos from our classes, is that Photos video editor, the old one. In the new version, you have a settings that allows you to go ahead and retrieve the legacy version of the video editor from Photos.
Oh,
And so you have a separate program once you enable that and download it to be able to use the old video editing features. And anyway, that's what I use to trim our videos for UV tag.
I use that when we teach Sunday school. Often the church has available 15 minutes, and I only have 5 minutes, and so I'll just trim it down to the 5 minutes to get the essential points. And again, it's nice to have that free program and be able to do it. Yeah,
It works slick.
it works slick. Yeah.
Marilyn, with the photos, can you edit the metadata in that photos thing?
No.
No, it's not
No.
a metadata.
No
So for
metadata
metadata, I use
capability.
Bridges, which is an Adobe. It's free from Adobe. And even my husband was able to learn how to do that one, and it worked well. The difference between it and Myleo, is it say Myleo?
Yeah.
Myleo is that Myleo does the metadata on all the duplicates at the same time. Whereas Bridges, it only edits the data on whichever thumb drive or whatever you're using, and it doesn't do it all across the board.
So yeah, well, there's a free program, and I can't remember now what it is called. Something about duplicates. Duplicate
Picasso
photos.
used to, didn't it? Yeah.
And it shows you the photos that are almost the same, the ones that are exactly the same and almost the same, and you can compare them side by side and delete one or the other to narrow down so you only have one copy of the final thing.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't Google Photos do that?
Google Photos does that too.
Does Google Photos still cut down the size though?
Yeah,
Google Photos used to, when you uploaded it instead of it would not keep the original resolution. It'd cut it way down, and
whereas
you didn't
Picasso
know that
was
because it
good
didn't
to
tell you
keep
that.
it. Yeah, that's a big problem. Yeah. Google Photos is also nice for families to be sharing photos in that. But then when I mention that to people, then they go, "What? What? I didn't know that." So I keep regularly checking to see if it continues to do that, and it does. Continues to do that. Yeah. One other thing I thought I might share that I have been doing is we have our standard, family history things that we check in with U.S. research and that, but I have started into doing British research, and so at Ritz Tech Conference, I joined a group that's called the Family Tree, which is a British organization, I've mentioned this to the group once before. They have clubs where you meet if you are into British DNA. They have clubs that will talk to you about basic research, but they have a huge webinar library. And the big difference I'm finding between our family tree that we usually go to, is that they're focusing just on British research. So they bring in these British experts that really know their documents and know what's going on. And it's kind of reminded me too often we become specialized here, especially in Utah, and relying on the Family History Library and everything at the Family History Library. Or if you're back east, then you start thinking, oh, everything's in the court records and things, and we need to diversify. And so, for example, I was trained to look at probate records, and they basically told me that probate research in the United Kingdom is hands-on only. That they just they haven't digitized the collections.
That's just not true now.
It is. When I was talking, when this lecture
but that's
came
been
on,
years ago, because they've digitized all those wills are online now.
But real probate, true probate, isn't just wills. And so they said the real probate and land records, that was the
Okay.
other
All
thing.
right.
And land
Mhm.
records really is a hands-on. And so they talked about, how to approach them and what your bottlenecks are and what your problems are and that. And so it reminded me we need to stop thinking that the whole world is US. And I know when I've joined a Danish genealogical societies, and again, the same thing. They have different terminologies, they have different categories, they don't have counties, and things like that. And getting into the records and the parish chests, it's all very much individualized. And so just it's been a wonderful experience for me to listen to the enthusiasm of these Brits who are doing their family history. But it also put a caution on me that when I'm talking to the world, I need to also be aware that because something works here in the US, in our US research, it may not work for them. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
well,
Thank you,
true.
Marilyn.
guess what? We have a question from our Facebook.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
As do we have any suggestions on how to highlight a line on a passenger list or census image?
Highlight it in family search, I assume is what she's saying, to highlight it.
You mean to just make it darker or something, or
Or
just
to-
I think
put a
maybe like a
box
yellow
on it?
highlight. Maybe like a yellow highlight.
So there's a broad range of images on family search, and so it depends upon which of their softwares. Naomi, I need you not to be in here for just a little while longer,
Yeah,
okay? Thank
if you
you.
did a PDF of it,
Yeah.
then
Um,
you can edit the PDF using stuff like Maryland's
yeah.
using. Yeah.
Download it to a PDF. Oh,
Well,
she
Yeah.
said
just do a
no.
screenshot.
She said on the image,
On the image.
that's like a highlight. So I think like,
So
It would.
oh,
So-
for
You know,
publishing
she
a
ma-
book.
she
for
may be,
publishing a book. Okay, for
So I guess
publishing,
download the image.
download the
Well,
image.
Yeah.
just do a screenshot of the image. You don't even need to download it.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a screenshot of that piece, and then you can do a edit by using what Maryland's using. Use anything
Yeah.
you want, Canva
Yeah.
or anything else to edit it.
One of my favorite things with something like that is to you want the whole document with the image, but then you put a little box around the name and then do what they call a call out, and then you have a big image to the side that's highlighted and has, like he showed us in the prior thing, the big handwriting of Michael. And he says, I think this is Michael, not Nathan. And that's what I do in a publication so that people can see the full document, which gives them the context of the document. But then it
Yeah.
also gives you the handwriting that you're looking at. Yeah.
I use the program Snagit, which is like,
Snag it. It's good.
and that's really nice because you can just, edit, put highlights on photos, put arrows, put anything. So any kind
Yeah.
of thing like that
Yeah.
works.
What does Snagit cost now?
I don't know. I've had mine for quite a while and sometimes I'll upgrade it, but maybe
last time I looked, it was $40, $50.
yeah.
The one I
just
use
a
is
one-time charge though, isn't it?
Yeah, and then if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade. But yeah, it's been really good. I do all my videos with that. I've used it for a lot. I actually years ago at Roots Tech learned about that one, Rayanne.
Yeah.
The Fast Stone Capture is another one. That's shareware, and that's $20, and all the upgrades, and it'll do even scrolling windows and everything else.
Yeah, it's not good.
And it's got an editor in there that you can do all these call out, all this other stuff too.
The new Windows snipping tool has additional options that didn't used to be there, and now you can go in and do an underline and things like that right on the document. So you've snipped it, and then you can underline something, and then you can save it, and it will save the underline with it. So
And it does highlight too, doesn't it? I think I haven't used it.
Yeah.
Carol, back on the question that your Facebook person asked, you cannot edit the thing so it will stay on on the edited version unless you do a screenshot of it and then paste it in as a new memory. Because otherwise you'd be able to change the stuff that they've got on there. So
Right.
so if you do a screenshot, then you could save it as a, edit it the way you want, put arrows in or anything else, and then save that.
Yeah, and sometimes,
know,
Family Search does have highlights on some. The editing part and the census has been a little, they're
It's
having
a
a hard
little
time on Family
wonky.
Search.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're having a
it's-
really hard time, but sometimes
Right.
they do have the highlight too, but
Yeah.
there are, in related to that question, there are some websites that do that automatically, like Ancestry. If you're searching a census and you go to the image, it'll highlight for you the
Mhm.
person on the page that you had searched for. And you could take a screenshot of that and take the highlight then,
yeah, that may be a workaround for them.
and without going through all the rigmarole,
Right.
just snagging that off of the image, because the person will be highlighted. I think green is usually the color that they choose
Yeah.
to do that. And so some sites do that automatically for you.
There's also an extension in Chrome, and it's probably in others too, that will highlight any word that you want or any text on the screen
Oh.
in colors. So if you have 3 different words that are there, it will color each one of those words with a different color. It's
You know
an
what that's
extension,
called? Do you know what that's called?
but it's got to be text. Then it's not handwritten stuff.
Oh,
Here's one of the things that have found very useful recently is using my either my camera or my tablet, especially my tablet now, to take pictures of documents, and it does a better job than my scanner does.
Yeah, I
Oh.
use my phone to take pictures of everything.
Yeah, and I do when I
awesome.
go to the doctor, for example, and they give you a sheet there. I just photograph that, and and it squares it up, even if it's not at a slight angle. It squares it up and says, "Oh, this ought to be rectangular," and it cuts off the. It's wonderful. I've used it. In fact, I'm going to do class next week on starting with that as to how you do a scanned article and how you get that in, and then actually use it to summarize it.
The only downside I have found with the scanners is the glares. And so you have to really be careful that
Yeah.
there isn't a glare on a place in the document that you want to read later. And so
Yeah,
you have to figure out where to put the document to eliminate the overhead lighting or a window reflection or something. But other than that, yeah. So
yeah, and you also have to be careful to make I've got a chair that's got a dark background on the seat of it. I just put the thing on that because
yeah,
if it's got a dark background and it recognizes a rectangle, then it does a good
right.
picture. But if you put a light on light, then it doesn't know that it's a rectangular piece of paper.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that it only saves it as a picture, whereas the scanner can save it as a PDF, except unless you're there are some softwares that will take a series of photos and save them all as a PDF, which then you could upload into Family Search as
Yeah, well, mine saves them as a PDF, or mine
Yeah.
saves. I use Evernote, and it saves them right into Evernote, which you can do a PDF or
See, there we
export
go.
or mail or anything else you want. Yeah.
Right. And so Evernote's a good, you need to use that extra party to be able to
Yeah,
save.
it's a third party thing. There's a
Yeah.
program called Scannable that will also do it without using Evernote or something else. I think it's Scannable.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's bunches of them. All right. What else? Any other questions? Any other comments? Any other successes anybody's had that they want to share with us?
I know a while back the DNA, I was trying to remember the name of the website that had a problem with privacy issues, and it kind of scared the genealogy community that you're going to lose your privacy. And so I have noticed a rippling through the DNA groups that they're upgrading the privacy issues and things like that. And that's, we're kind of coming over that hill into a new era of DNA. I also wanted to say it is important to go back to your DNA. If you started doing your DNA a few years ago, come back in, because there's new generations that are coming into DNA with new trees and new options and things like that. And so that is a huge area. It's a scary area. I think people get overwhelmed really quickly. I remember Bonnie Diamond had mentioned that was the one thing that she couldn't teach in youth classes.
Yeah.
Because that is too big of a topic to understand or to get into. But what I have been noticing, that was one of the areas I focused in on the Ritz Tech when I took classes, is that I have noticed that there are more tools to help beginner genealogists with DNA. And there are much better classes at explaining DNA. And so I was just going to say, if you tried it and became overwhelmed or didn't get any results, keep coming back and keep trying that.
I think that Diane Southard has the most fun way to explain DNA in normal terms, not scientific terms.
Who is that?
Diane Southard.
Oh yeah, she's the one.
Yeah.
My daughter Linda Westover is in it, taking a class every week all this year. She signed up with Diana Southard, Southard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
She's good.
It has a way to just bring it down to a level that anybody can understand.
Yeah. And it's similar to your photo project. It is something that you have to set a certain amount of time. You have to take pieces and bites and just a little bit.
Because it can overwhelm you if you don't,
really
because you look at it and you say, how am I supposed to understand all of this? Or how am I, it's so huge of a project. And I had a cousin that just contacted me a few years ago. Her dad was my dad's one of his older brothers, and he was the last remaining male in that family. And I had to lobby with her for a couple of years to get her to convince her dad to do a DNA test.
Oh.
And we did it about a year before he passed away, and I'm really, really glad. But her mom just passed away, and now she's realized that. So she sent me an email this week and said, is there any way I could get my mom's DNA off of anything that she left behind? And it's like, but then she said, of course, I've been a crazed lunatic cleaning everything. I cleaned her hairbrushes. I cleaned everything. And she said, is there anything left that we could use? And so, because her mom passed away earlier this year. And so she's realizing that, oh, I thought about this a little too late. But I sent her, I was doing some research and I sent her a list of, well, here's some possibles, probably not too probables, but here's a list and you can go through your house and see if there's anything that might work. But
what was on that list?
Oh, it was things like dried blood on Band-Aids, or
postage stamps, the back of a postage
stamps and
or envelopes.
Yeah, things like that. But she's such a clean freak. I really think she's gonna have a hard time finding anything. And they said hair might work, but it's got to have the, you need 6 or 7 strands, and it's got to have the root attached. So it's not just
clear down to the root, huh?
Yeah, it's got to have the root attached. And and then they said clothes if there was anything, but she sent all the clothes to the cleaners, and she, I mean, she's just that way. It's like my dad's side of the family is very much that way. It's like, okay, they're dead, it's over, done the funeral, they're in the ground, let's clean the house. And that's the way they deal with things. And so, like I said, it took me a good couple of years for me to convince her to ask her dad to do this. And I'm so glad we did.
So Rayanne, I was thinking while we have you online, I wonder if you could talk about the new BYU webpage. I know I was trying to get information off of that for the newsletter, and it's.
Do you want me to tell you everybody's real thought about it?
Well, it's
Of
up to
course.
you. It's up to
They
you.
all hate it.
Yeah, that
Nobody
was.
nobody can find anything.
I can't find anything.
Oh, really? It's not clear, huh?
Everybody's comment is the other one was cluttered, but they could find things. This
Yeah.
one has everything that has disappeared, and it's behind all these. It's too many clicks to find everything. That's everybody's
Oh,
comment.
gosh, that's too bad.
Yeah, and it
So,
doesn't feel organized.
no, it feels nice and sleek and clean. That's what it feels like. It's so you look at it, it's nice and clean and sleek, but you can't find anything.
Yeah.
That's the comment.
Are they still
Yeah.
going to use it, or are they going to modify it?
Good
I'm
question.
I'm sure it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Speaking of websites, Gerhard,
Yeah.
I have a guy that in our ward that is a UVU computer guy that is a student that needs to talk to you about our website. He would like to help.
Oh, gosh, good.
Would you email me
His
name,
contact information? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked to him, but I didn't have enough of the specifics to let him know exactly what, how, why, type of stuff. But
Good.
I have talked to him. So, and he's willing and he's got the time.
Thank you.
So, okay. So the website, yeah, I wish I could say, I don't think I've met one person with the exception maybe of Joe Everett, who's the BYU Family History Librarian, that likes the website, but none of us have dared say that.
Gosh.
Is it still the Family History Library website?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It
gee.
I was
is.
just there and it looks the same, but maybe I
Oh, you
might be on the old one.
you're
Huh.
probably in the old one. If it looks like it's cluttered and logical, you're in the old one.
Uh-huh.
The new one, it's really looks sleek and nice,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't, most people, if you sit and click and click and click and click around till you find what you want, then maybe it'll be helpful to you. But a lot of people, we've had a lot of people say, who designed this thing?
So even the calendar that they have put up is basically like a free calendar that you would get thing
Yeah.
and so there's things on this calendar and you can't read what's on the calendar because the printing's so small and it cuts off 3/4 of the class.
Yeah.
So you're
And pretty
going
much what people are doing is they're going there and it says at the top, it says, if you want to find the old
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 website.
that, and everybody goes back to the old
All
website.
that.
I can't find the new one.
Oh, you
my
can. Well, anyway, then the
Okay.
other. So I do like the Facebook page. The BYU Facebook page does have the webinars there, but even that one is difficult to sort through to find the topics that you really want to know.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for webinars, I do like it's ironic that the Family Search Library, the Family History Library in Salt Lake, their website is actually better to use than it used to be. And so they have upped their game, and I'm sorry, BYU is it's a struggle. So anyway,
to find the classes. Now, do you find the BYU Sunday classes still worthwhile?
Well, the classes, but you can't find
But you
out
can't
what classes
find out.
you're going
Find
to
what
get.
they are, huh?
You can't find them on the new webpage. And I was trying to get a summary of the Thursday classes, and you can't find a summary of the Thursday classes. And then it sends you to this calendar that you can't read. The majority of the things on the calendar are what classes are on the calendar or what time the classes are on this calendar, because it's just a free generic calendar that isn't very good.
Yeah.
So it's just not good. So
well, anyway, and there has been talk of getting getting rid of the Sunday classes.
Oh, really?
And
And the problem, Carol, with that old website is when you start to click in to get into the new information isn't in the old website.
Okay, I can't find the new one. So
I will send you the link, Carol. To
okay,
this.
yeah, it's like I'm just looking at it, I'm still just getting the old one. And I see the Sunday virtual.
Put it
Yeah,
in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you sent us
Oh,
that
now
once
I
before.
see. Go to
Yeah,
new website. I do
yeah.
see go to new website.
Do you see
Okay.
it?
Yeah, okay.
Could I
Yeah.
change the subject and ask another question?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
What do you recommend? What program to find all the duplicates of not just photos, but duplicates of files and everything else? I'm sure I've got thousands of duplicates that I could cut out terabytes of stuff. What do you recommend to do that?
I don't have that.
I've just gotten to the point where my files are all just, I've been going through them all, but I've had the time to. So
But is there any program? There's got to be some programs.
there's probably.
I've got several, but I don't dare use them because I'm not sure how they work, or I don't have a recommendation from somebody that's used one.
I don't.
I guess I could ask AI.
That's an idea. I haven't found one, but I haven't truthfully looked very hard lately.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I have a family waiting for me, and so I'm gonna have to leave. It's been so wonderful to be with my favorite people. Well,
I'm losing brain cells, so I don't dare trust my memory at the moment. So
Yeah, that's most of us at this stage.
so
By
I'm
the way,
gonna,
it is 12:01 anyway.
Oh, it is. Oh, well, then
and
we're over time. Now, is there anything in the chat that we need to download that we haven't because there's those references
Just the
that
links, the
links
links
that
that
he gave us.
Marilyn and Dallin put in.
Yeah, good. Okay, and I think we got them. I think I got a copy of those. At least I hope I do.
okay, so I
Yeah.
love you
Good
and
to see
have a great
everybody.
week until next month. And thank you all for all your time and your service. I
well, thank you guys.
really am grateful for each of you. You
This
take
was,
care.
this was
Okay.
really good today too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Thanks.
was.
We all
By
learned
the
a lot, I
way,
think,
we
today.
ended up with 30 people for Dallin on Facebook.
Good.
That was so
Good.
good.
And we had 7 here on Zoom. We only had 4 on Facebook for this last one.
The second one never has as many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Don,
good.
you want to close this?
Yep. Wonderful. We thank everybody for being part of it, and we'll sign off, and we'll see you next month.